Just let me know your thoughts on Jake going 6 rounds with AJ.
You know, the fact that he did that, it was good because, you know, we didn't think it was going to go 6 rounds.
Lennox Lewis knew this was coming long before the first bell rang. In Miami, his prediction played out exactly as expected. This wasn't another influencer spectacle. It was a clear reminder of what happens when online hype collides with true heavyweight greatness. As fans questioned whether Jake Paul's rebellious confidence could stand up to a former unified champion's power, Lewis watched calmly from ringside, unsurprised. By the 6th round, there was no debate left. This wasn't a shock result. It was a decisive lesson for a fighter who finally faced a level beyond his reach.
Joshua versus Jake Paul. What do you think when I heard about the fight? I said, they're going to actually fight? I didn't believe it. But what we got to do is say, Jake Paul really bit off a lot this time. He's serious. He wants to go up against a true heavyweight, and that's Anthony Joshua. So he's up against a heavyweight. How is he gonna adopt? How is he gonna feel? How is he gonna fight when he gets in there? I don't see him fighting. I see him looking to survive in the fight. He's gonna feel the uppercut. He's gonna feel the jab. He's gonna feel the right hand. How's he gonna react? I don't know. We're gonna have to see how he's gonna react.
Lennox Lewis was shocked the fight was even made. He said Jake Paul had no business facing someone like AJ, comparing Joshua to a race car and Jake to a daily driver. Lewis predicted that once AJ's power landed, Jake would stop fighting and start surviving, proving this was a step too far.
You know how to fight Anthony Joshua? I should have listened to my mom. My dad pushed me to this. Now I'm alone in the hospital. Got to eat liquid now. Anthony Joshua, be ready for...
A major question was Joshua's 15-month layoff, with critics calling it ring rust. Early on, AJ looked patient and deliberate against a smaller, faster opponent. But as Lennox Lewis explained, this wasn't hesitation, it was strategy. Joshua used the early rounds to find his rhythm, turning a global pay-per-view star into little more than a warm-up.
We fight. We're licensed to kill. I'm sure many people don't understand it, but this is what my job is. And I just enjoy what I do. Whatever happens, happens. As long as my hand's raised, that's what's important, right? Respectfully. That's just the mentality we have to have as fighters. I don't know if any other fighter thinks that way. Maybe they're a bit more tame. But the things I watch and the way my mind works, when you're in that ring, it's a dangerous place to be and anything can happen. And you hope your opponent leaves the ring safely, but if they don't, you know, you still have to go to bed at night knowing that you just done your job. It wasn't.
Jake Paul's plan was obvious from the start: stay mobile and avoid Joshua's right hand. He spent the opening rounds circling the ring, trying to frustrate AJ. But as Lennox Lewis noted, that kind of movement drains energy fast at heavyweight level. While Jake taunted after missed shots, he was quietly wearing himself down, looking busy early, but racing toward an inevitable...
Both guys from round one. Jake was very mobile. I mean, he had the happy feet going. He was circling around the outside of the ring. He was not looking to engage in elongated combinations. He was not looking to stand in the center of the ring with AJ. And people are going to say Jake ran from AJ, and you're right. Because guess why? He absolutely had to. Again, we talked about this in the build-up to the fight. He had to be mobile. He had to be on his bike. So yes, you're justified in saying Jake ran from him because he had to. He had to. And anybody that convinced themselves that Jake was going to walk to the center of the ring, stand in the phone booth with AJ, and trade punches until someone laid flat, you were lying to yourself, or you convinced yourself of something you saw in the promo. This was always going to be the way the fight went. I wasn't surprised at all that this is the way that Jake started and pretty much fought the entire time. I was a bit surprised that AJ didn't assert himself earlier. Now, again, it is very hard to hurt someone that doesn't want to engage in a continuous fight. Round one, very much a feeling out process for AJ. Didn't really look like he did much, but Jake didn't either. There was one right hand that AJ landed in the first round that shook Jake up. That's the danger that was coming for Jake the entirety of the fight.
By the 5th round, Jake had nowhere left to run. Even the referee urged them to engage. That's when the difference in heavyweight power showed. As Lewis noted, Jake stopped moving and became a stationary target. A hard left shook him in the 5th, and the 6th ended quickly when a straight right put him down for good. The showboating stopped, and the referee stepped in to end it.
Saw AJ come alive. He saw a wounded animal and finally went in for the kill. And let me tell you something. Jake took some fucking hard KO punches in this fight. The first one in the first round, he got hit with a shovel hook from the left side. He got hit with an uppercut at one point. It's a heavyweight fight. I'm not going to congratulate Jake for, getting beat up, but I am going to congratulate his heart for being able to take those punches and not quit on himself, at least to the point of being like, I'm just going to stay on the ground here and call it an evening. He didn't do that. He got up multiple times. He got dropped multiple times. Again, kind of the clinch weird thing, but he would get hit with a punch and, look to clinch at AJ and just kind of fall by the wayside. That happened twice in the 5th round. And then in the 6th, the levee broke. He finally got Jake into the corner, threw a flurry, and then came across when AJ was like going around the side with the right hand and trying to chop over the top, and then, big looping shots that he was missing early on because Jake was moving his head and doing some good things defensively. Fair play to him. He was protecting himself very well early on. In the 6th round, his gas tank was done. The legs were not there. He had already been hurt a bunch from AJ, and AJ went to the body with the jab and chopped a right hand over, and it hit Jake, and he snapped his head, collapse to the canvas. That's it, and that's all. It was so devastating that Jake turned around and looked into the crowd and went, oh fuck, that's the realization. That is
The final shot took a serious toll. Despite trying to appear unfazed afterward, it became clear Jake had been badly hurt. Reports later confirmed a fractured jaw supported by medical imaging he shared himself. The Florida Athletic Commission issued an immediate 60-day medical suspension, and he was taken for further evaluation. It was a harsh reminder that heavyweight power isn't something you can experiment with. It carries real consequences.
The direction he's been going in is he puts on big fights, but not competitive fights. Fighting Chavez Jr., that was an easy win. Nate Diaz, an easy win. Mike Tyson, an easy win. Anthony Joshua, not competitive for the opposite reason. He's completely not expected to win, and it wasn't competitive. He stacks the chips too heavily either way, and because of that, we never actually get to find out how good Jake is. And part of that, I think, is maybe deliberate, because then we never know, and the storyline can go anywhere. And while you don't know really how good he is, there's always another dream to sell, and it's almost genius level promoting. It really is. But for his own sake, you're getting into your late 20s now, your physical prime, you're only going to ever find out how good you really are by getting in there with people who are of the level that you claim you're at the right weight class. You are not a cruiserweight. You've got a layer of, body fat on you. You can't be doing that in boxing. If you're a serious boxer, you don't get in there looking like Jake Paul looks. You look shredded, and that's why really he's a light heavyweight. But fuck it, if you want to be cruiserweight, be a cruiserweight. Regardless, just fight people who are now ranked, and let's find out where the fuck he is. Because surely these money grab Tyson fight, the AJ fight, he's packed that bank chock full, and credit to him. Even if he has hustled people or whatever the fuck, credit to him. One of the best promoters in boxing history, actually. I really do believe that, because even when fights seem ridiculous, he always gets people to tune in, and he's done great things with Netflix, and hopefully that opens doors up for other boxers, and he's certainly opened a lot of doors up for female boxers. So again, credit to him for that. But let's find out how good you really are now, because I just don't want any more gimmick fights.
No big fight is complete without a betting disaster, and this one fell under the infamous Drake curse. The rapper reportedly wagered $200,000 on Jake Paul, hoping for a massive upset. Instead, the bet was dead the moment Jake went down. Fans online joked that Drake's support sealed the outcome before the opening bell, keeping the curse alive. Once again,
Paul didn't get in there to win last night. He got in there to survive. And he didn't do a better job of surviving. He sold the fight brilliantly. That's what he is. He's a salesman. And he's a YouTuber, influencer, call him whatever you want. So from that perspective, he did his job, but he never got in there to win. He just got in there to got beat up. I'm glad Anthony Joshua done a number on him. This is why boxers are boxers, YouTubers, whatever they want to call themselves, influencers. They should stay in their lane and fight people that they're supposed to fight on their level. This guy was never on Anthony Joshua's level, and Joshua did what he needed to do, did what he had to do for the sake of boxing, and blow this guy out and just knock him out.
What about the fact that Jake was able to land on him clean a couple of times? What did you make of that?
Oh, listen, you can't get into the water without getting hit. Fortunately for Joshua, that guy can't break an egg. So he was never in any danger. You know, he was always going to get hit back. I mean, you know, it was 6 rounds. Anthony Joshua was always going to take at least 1 or 2 shots over that 6-round period, but it was nothing to hurt him. It was nothing to bother him. And like I say, this is all about getting AJ's confidence back. If Jake Paul fights, if he fights KSI or KFC or whatever his name is, then those two are evenly matched, aren't they? They're evenly matched, and then they could fight, you know, and then because they're evenly matched, they're both YouTubers, aren't they? They should get that on. I'd probably stay up and watch that.
The biggest reveal of the night came off the canvas. During the broadcast, Lennox Lewis and Eddie Hearn dropped a bomb. The real target was a 2026 mega fight between Joshua and Tyson Fury. This bout with Jake Paul was just warm-up rounds. Jake was never the main event, merely a speed bump on AJ's path to the undisputed throne.